In that first clip, I showed you an example of a over-the-shoulder shot. Basically, it's a way to capture the perspective of the subject by the camera seeing their movements. Um, Basically, it's kind of like a third-person view. So for my example, I used it as getting of the subject getting onto the moped and starting it up. Sometimes it's used in film for like conversations. Basically, how to do it is you kind of just set up the camera behind the subject's like shoulder, whatever side you want, and so you can still see the movements of what they're doing um, in the film. So in that last clip, I showed an example of the use of slow motion in a film. Slow motion is the effect used to make it appear that time is slowed down, and its main purpose is it's used to slow down the shot so that the audience watches it more in depth, and it can show greater detail you wouldn't be able to see in real time. So, like, if, for example, in mine, um, you can see as he's driving by in the moped, he like puts up the peace sign and like smiles. And in real time, you wouldn't be able to see that because he's going 40 miles an hour. So usually you see it in films and like fighting scenes, and it's probably famous in like The Matrix when he's dodging the bullets and all that. That last clip there was an example of an aerial or an overhead shot. Basically, what that is it's a shot that's taken from an elevated vantage point, and it's used to show what is happening below. And it's also used to isolate that one specific scene and the details of it. So, for example, like in our clip, you saw me walk up with the broken chair, place it into the shopping cart, and begin to walk away with it. Um, Usually, directors use like drones or cranes to capture this sort of bird's eye view of it. So that clip there was an example of a Dutch angle or a Dutch angle shot. Basically, what that is that it's a shot with a tilt on the camera's roll axis. And before I explain more, I just want to say that it was very challenging to attempt to do it, and it is hard to do, especially just on a regular camera. Um, but anyway, it's used to give the audience an uneasy or eerie feeling. It also is used to signal that something is wrong or there's like negative tension growing. So for our clip, we used it to show that like he was reading a book and he was kind of sitting on like a rocking chair and then kind of glances up with like a dead stare. So that negative tension was building and going to show that like maybe the person who's walking up isn't supposed to be there. So that clip right there was an example of a low angle shot. Basically what it is, it's a shot from the camera angle positioned low on the vertical axis. So it's anywhere below the eye line and it's looking up. So the effect that it's supposed to have on the audience is that it's supposed to show the subject looking strong or powerful. So in my clip, you can see I had my subject like standing in a powerful looking pose and used it, and then I did like a spin around 360 view just to kind of emphasize it a little bit more. One of my favorite uses of this shot is in The Dark Knight when with Heath Ledger playing the Joker. They use it a lot throughout that movie of him, just to show that he is like a pretty powerful villain and that he has a lot of control.